Here we go, Randy Manning from Metagame Jiu-Jitsu. I'm here with Yousef and Jacob. Both these are black belts at Star Jiu-Jitsu. So Yousef, what is Jiu-Jitsu to you, and how would you explain it to someone new who is interested in getting into Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, I would say Jiu-Jitsu is the coolest sport ever. I come from wrestling background, and I love wrestling, and it was the greatest thing ever for me. But after I couldn't find wrestling here in Texas, I kind of turned to Jiu-Jitsu, and I find out I really, really love Jiu-Jitsu. And obviously the reason I loved it because they kicked my ass, although I was a badass wrestler. So it hurt my feelings so badly, I come back next day and I train even harder. And since that day, I just loved it.
You come from a wrestling background. How would you say Jiu-Jitsu is different from other martial arts or different from wrestling? Because that's your bread and butter.
Obviously, wrestling is a little different than Jiu-Jitsu. I would say as far as base and, takedown part of it would be exactly the same as Jiu-Jitsu, but submissions is something is not allowed in wrestling, like chokes or armbar or, stuff like that. But I love them both, so.
Cool. So, how is your Jiu-Jitsu different from, I know you got from the wrestling background, but how is your Jiu-Jitsu different from other schools, from just a traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? What sets you apart from the others?
Well, I think my Jiu-Jitsu is, based on my background, it's a combination of wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu move, which a really great combination. At least for me, I am not the greatest technician, but often I win my matches just with combining my Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling experience together.
So what would you say makes a good Jiu-Jitsu or martial arts school?
Obviously, as far as comparative goes, I have to say a great technique, the newer lifestyle of Jiu-Jitsu, I have to say, as far as technique goes. We were mentioning this earlier when we were talking about, what Jiu-Jitsu was 15 years ago and what Jiu-Jitsu is right now is completely different. So I would say, the good Jiu-Jitsu school is the one they kind of like keep up with new technique and trying to teach.
Cool. So what would you say makes a good grappler? What makes a good Jiu-Jitsu practitioner?
I think it's like any other sport. You should have you have to be almost great at everything. For example, there are so many great Jiu-Jitsu guys who are awesome in submission, but they are not any good at takedowns or So I think you need to know and learn any and every aspect of Jiu-Jitsu, which is takedowns and just great submission and great position and all those stuff.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about your path to black belt. I know you started off in wrestling. How long did it take you to get to black belt? When did you start your whole grappling experience, and who did you get your black belt under?
Well, like I was saying, I was a wrestler. 1998, I started Jiu-Jitsu because I kind of got introduced to Jiu-Jitsu by Carlos Machado. He came and he was trying to take a wrestling private from me, and I told him I don't know anything about your sport, so I'm not going to be able to teach you. And then just happened a week after that, I met Alan Moeller, and I told him I know Carlos, and then he said, hey, you need to come train in my gym, and his gym was literally 5 minutes away from where I was living, so I started going over there, and I got my black belt probably in like 5 years, but again, I had 17 years experience in wrestling before then, so.
Very cool. And so how many black belts do you have under you right now?
Oh, I would say like about 10 to 12.
Whoa, really? That's impressive. So when was who was your first and who is your last so far?
First one is Sina Haddad, who actually he's the world champion, in no-gi. And last one was Yeah, probably.
That group of guys? Or?
Yeah, it was few guys, but I think Ian Wooden was the very last one.
Okay, excellent. So, what would you like to say to anyone who is thinking about joining your gym?
Well, I would say for sure this is the coolest place and it's the most laid-back school. Although Jiu-Jitsu is like a traditional Brazilian sport, but ours is kind of like a pretty modern place, I have to say. We are not part of politics, you know. We don't care if you are from, I don't know, Machado or Gracie or Lions or any other team. We all train under same roof.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem, brother.